What's up, CK Nation? It's your boy Lamari.
It's your boy Kyshawn.
And today we are back with another aim. Alright, so by the time today we're reacting to 10 worst school punishments ever, y'all. We doing a school reaction today, y'all. Because we're in school. We're still kids. We're still in school, y'all. But if you're new to the channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe right now and join the nation, y'all. Make sure y'all turn the notification bell to get notified whenever we drop another video, y'all. Make sure y'all already say give me a big fat thumbs up.
No.
Make sure y'all give me a big fat thumbs up, y'all. Make sure y'all go follow me on Instagram. Put that right there. Go follow Quashawn's Instagram. Put that right there. Follow Kyshawn's Instagram. Put that right there. And follow Chris's Instagram. Put that right there, y'all.
Right there.
But without further ado, let's get it.
Let's go.
Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have bad luck for the rest of the week.
All of us have received some kind of punishment in school as a kid.
Yeah.
But the form of punishment today is supposed to be less severe than before. But sometimes teachers and schools take things just too far. The worst school punishments are not just physical. They are also mental and psychological. Here are 10 of the worst school...
Yeah, y'all. It's crazy teachers out here for real, y'all. My first year of high school, y'all, I had my teacher. Like, she was anxious to like get me in trouble. Like, I guess I not come to her class. She did not like me, y'all. And I'm gonna tell y'all,
She still work there?
Yeah, I used to skip her class on purpose. I didn't, but she was just like crazy. Like, it's crazy, really bipolar people out here. Like, I used to skip her class.
My friend called me
I skipped first
bipolar.
block every year. For the whole, not every year, for the whole year I skipped first block because that teacher, she just really like on my nerve. But she ended up passing me, y'all, and I guess so, y'all. But yeah, lesson learned from this: do not skip y'all classes, bro. Do not skip, y'all. It's not good to skip. Even though I passed, but that was a blessing. But do not skip, y'all.
No.
Punishments some unfortunate kids had to bear. Number 1 will give you chills, so watch out for that. Frozen peas. We bet this student will never look at the frozen vegetable section of the grocery store the same way again. When one student was being disobedient, the teacher forced her to kneel on frozen peas as her punishment. And the result? Her legs were littered with multiple deep pea-shaped indents that we're sure didn't disappear after an hour or two.
Oh no, somebody would have tried to fight me after that. Bro, look, that's her knees. Those are her knees. Look at all them holes and bumps and stuff. Made her kneel. That means she made her sit on peas, like lay on peas or something. Like, put her legs on them.
Yeah.
Oh wow, no. That's messed
While this
up.
punishment doesn't seem too cruel or unusual, it's becoming more popular in Asian countries. And it is not only limited to school.
So in Asia, they can actually punish the students there. Never going to Asia. They can punish them, make them do. I still say no. What they gonna do? Yeah, let me stop.
It's happening in homes as well.
They
It
like
is
to make me
more
do
likely
something
to
because they
occur
mad at
in
me.
Chinese homes. The reason it is becoming more popular is that the teachers think that the pain or probably the embarrassment of the punishment would motivate students to perform better behaviorally
I'm not
as
gonna be
well
able
as
to walk after
educationally.
that.
It is most commonly used on the misbehaved students, and if frozen peas aren't available, frozen corn or uncooked rice will work just as well. There's nothing like putting someone through excruciating pain to get your point across. Don't play with your hair. If you've ever had a sister, it's safe to say that you threatened to cut off her hair at one point or another.
Yeah.
But have you actually done it? One day in class, 7-year-old Lamea Common was playing with her braids. And when the teacher asked her to stop, she, like any 7-year-old that likes to push buttons, didn't stop. The teacher then asked her to come up to her desk for a piece of candy. She quickly proceeded to the teacher's desk, but when she got there, the teacher took out her scissors and cut off one of her braids, all without saying anything. The girl was shocked and started to cry as she returned to her desk, and the other students laughed at her. The teacher would then explain to her enraged mother that she did it because she was frustrated. The teacher was fined $175 and faced some disciplinary action from the school, and little Amaya was...
They get paid for disciplining other people.
No, she had to pay a fine.
They shouldn't be doing that. Like, who do they think they
transferred to a
is?
different class. The starvation method. If withholding recess doesn't do the trick, you can always withhold lunch. One afternoon at Bethune Elementary and Middle School, a huge food fight broke out in the cafeteria. Instead of punishing only the students that were involved, the school decided to refrain from serving lunch to all 6th, 7th, and 8th graders for an entire week. Each child was sent home with a letter that they were required to bring their own food if they wanted to have lunch. Given that this one is reported to be one of Michigan's worst performing schools, it really comes as no surprise that they would do this. Parents were obviously angered by the cruel and unusual punishment. What's even more disturbing that many of the other students are less fortunate and receive free meals at school, so by taking that away, they likely would not get any meal at all. Fortunate.
Yeah, like you say, y'all gotta be thankful. Like, I am thankful that the school serve food for kids because some kids don't get to eat. Some kids don't even get to go to school. That's the crazy thing. But I am thankful that they actually, like, serve food at school because, gotta think about it, like, it's hard to get food for some people. So, yeah, I'm thankful for that, y'all.
The Education and Achievement Authority heard about the punishment and had a chat with the Bethune administration, canceling the punishment. We're not sure you could stoop much lower than taking food away from children that desperately need it. Make love, not war. While this next punishment may have worked when you were 5 years old and fighting with your siblings, it certainly isn't appropriate for high schoolers. After 2 male students attending Westwood High in Mesa, Arizona were caught fighting, they were given 2 options: be suspended or publicly hold hands for 15 minutes in the school courtyard.
No.
They chose to hold hands because what high schooler wouldn't? They know they would have to face their parents if they chose suspension. During the hand-holding session, other students made fun of them, yelled inappropriate slurs, and used anti-gay language. Some students claimed that it was sending the wrong message about being gay by using same-sex hand-holding as a form of punishment. However, the principal had many supporters at the school, and they reminded everyone that it was their choice to hold hands, and that it was never meant to reinforce negative thoughts about gays. Segregated lunchroom. Being refused lunch as an entire student body doesn't sound so bad after hearing this story. A group of Hispanic students was refilling their cooler with a water jug when they ended up spilling water all over the floor. All it would have taken is a mop to clean up the harmless mess. But instead, the vice principal, who was an African American, decided to punish all of the 5th grade Hispanics, some which weren't even there on the day when the water was spilled. What do you think their punishment could be for spilling a little bit of water? Well, it turned out that it was to eat lunch on the ground with nothing but paper liners separating their food from the dirty and disgusting gym floor. For 10 days, those Hispanic students sat on the floor eating off of thin sheets of paper while the African American students
If that's the case, then I just won't eat nothing. That's not.
at lunch tables
They only did Hispanic.
poked fun at them. When their teacher told the children to tell their parents about what was happening, the good-hearted mentor was fired. But when the students' parents did finally find out, 7 out of the 15 families involved sued the school, winning a $500,000 lawsuit. The teacher that was fired also received $75,000. Sadly, this story goes to show that segregation is still ever present in today's society. And even in fired also received tree schools bullied by the teacher. At one particular school, the kids aren't the ones you need to look out for. Rather, it's the teachers. One day in a kindergarten class, 5-year-old Alex Barton, who has autism, kept disrupting class by kicking the other students, throwing and eating crayons, and crawling under tables. Unable to stop this behavior, the teacher sent him to the principal's office. After a discussion with the associate principal, Alex returned to the class. When he returned to class, the teacher had already devised a method of punishing him and told him to stand in the front of the class and instructed the other students to tell him why they didn't like him. After all the students have told their opinion about Alex, she went on telling him that she hated him and didn't like him at all. When she went on asking other students whether or not Alex should be allowed to stay in the class for the rest of the day, and only 2 good-hearted students took his side while the other 14 voted him out. Humiliated by the teacher and his class fellows, poor Alex spent the rest of the day in the nurse's office and suffered severe emotional damage following the incident. With that type of adults who are supposed to be role models, it's no wonder where children learn how to be bullies. Strip search. Apparently, one school thought all they needed was a hunch to strip search a student when the vice principal caught a girl with prescription-strength ibuprofen. She said she got it from Savannah Redding, an honor roll student who had no prior substance or disciplinary issues. After hearing this rumor, the vice principal and the administrative assistant pulled her out of class to check her backpack. When they did not find any trace of drugs in her bag, the vice principal ordered the school nurse to strip search because he was convinced that she was carrying them in her underwear. She was asked to shake out her bra and pulled the elastic of her underwear to see if anything would fall out, but no drugs were found. Now, being a 13-year-old girl is already hard enough, but when you're forced to take off all of your clothes in front of a stranger, it could take a toll on your emotional well-being. Humiliated, she left the school and understandably did not want to come back ever. The girl's mother filed a lawsuit that reached the U.S. Supreme Court 6 years later. Fortunately, the court agreed that the search violated the student's constitutional rights, and she won a long-winded battle. Draw, or not. Apparently, kids nowadays can even get into trouble for playing cops and robbers. Mason Jammer was acting just like any ordinary 6-year-old on the playground when he put his hand like a gun and began pointing it at his friends, something most kids have probably done at one point or another in their lives. Well, the school wasn't too happy about the situation and suspended the little boy for 2 days. They backed up their punishment with a zero-tolerance gun and violence policy. The school claimed that the other students were uncomfortable with the situation and that Mason had already been warned about holding up his handgun. But was the child going around pretending to shoot other students? Probably not. In fact, Mason Jammer had never shown any violence.
What the?
Yo.
What is happening? Phone always do this.
Elementary schools. Bullied by the teacher.
Oh my God, y'all.
At one particular school, for 2 days, they backed up their punishment with a zero on pretending to juvenile delinquents. Nothing scares a kid more than getting arrested, especially if they've done something illegal, such as shoplifting the candy bar they've had their eye on. But this school district took things a bit too far. There have been so many youth arrests at the Meridian, Mississippi School District that the Department of Justice had accused it of running a school-to-prison pipeline. For at least 6 years now, a minimum of 7 students of color were suspended and even arrested for minor infractions that included wearing inappropriately colored socks, being tardy, and racing to the bathroom without permission to prevent an embarrassing accident from occurring in class. After being arrested, they were thrown in jail without a hearing or a right to an attorney, and most of them didn't even understand their rights, considering that some of them were as young as just 10 years old. The worst part is that the parents had no idea until the child was in lockup, and they would sometimes stay in jail for days at a time. In addition to this, a large number of students with disabilities were expelled or suspended at alarming rates for similar minor violence. The Department of Justice reported the issue to Lauderdale County.
Alright, y'all, that's it for this video, y'all. That's it for today, y'all. We're tired. Very tired, y'all. That's it for today, y'all. But I think them schools is crazy, though. That's crazy. They got rules at them schools. That's crazy, y'all. But this would be the end of the video, y'all. If y'all new to the channel, make sure you go subscribe right now. Enjoying the nation, y'all. Make sure y'all turn notification bell. Never got another banger again, y'all. Make sure y'all give me a big fat thumbs up, y'all. But without further ado, we're out. Wait, y'all. Make sure y'all go watch this video right here, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe.